Walk your own path. Create your own story. Custom quests, items, difficulties, solo raids, dungeons, and more. Play with your friends. Play with yourself. Private Server Creation Part 2 is now. Welcome to video number 2 of Mr. Sully's How to Create Your Own WoW Server series. Today we're going to cover an important configuration file that will allow you to customize your server into the server you've always dreamed of. We'll do this today through the world server config file. Now this guide assumes you've already downloaded and installed the required files and have been able to successfully launch your server. Please refer to the first video in this series if you still need to set up your server. So you'll want to find your repack where you downloaded it, and we'll click on that. We'll click on server. We'll click down here on MySQL, and once you see this MySQL port 3306, you should be good to go to the next step, which is going to be to start the authorization server here, and it should say added realm. Open up the world server now, and this will take a few moments, and once you hear that chime, that means your server is up and running and you should be good to proceed. Let's quickly go over how to create an account, change an account password, and set the GM level on an account. So to set up a new account, you'll type in to the world server, which you can see here in the address bar. It's also a red triangle. Account create, then the ID, then a password. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste this in. An account has been created. You can see it here. It tells you if it's successful. Now, how do I want to change this account password? We don't have a website to go to. We can't just request a new password, so we have to do it manually through the server. And so that is account set password, the ID, and then the new password twice. And now it says the password was changed. Now, of course, if you want to be a god on your own server or make some cool changes in the world, it's easy to do that as a GM. And so we want to set this account now to be a GM. So we'll do account set GM level, the ID, which in this case is going to be account, and then 3 minus 1, copy paste again. 3 is GM, 1 is normal. I don't remember what 2 is. Okay, so we've started our server. We've created our account. Okay, so now we've got everything going. We want to make some changes to the server. You're gonna do that through the world server config file, but it's actually up here at the top. You'll see configs. Well, I wanna click into that. We just wanna open up the world server config file, and we'll do that using Notepad+. Now, it's important to note that any changes you make in here will change and can break your server. And so we're just gonna cover some of the basic stuff today. The first one we're gonna go to is server. Use your mouse and scrolls. The main thing here I wanna look at is realm type. I keep it at any language, which is the development stage here. And then I'll look at expansion. 0 is going to be vanilla, 1 is going to be Burning Crusade, 2 is going to be Wrath of the Lich King. So no matter what you do here, you're going to be using Wrath of the Lich King talents, etc. But you can, in fact, change this value, and you could completely disable Wrath of the Lich King if you just wanted to play TPC content. You could disable everything and just play vanilla. It's just important to note that if you do that, any type of race or class that is only available, say for Wrath of the Lich King, will not be available for you. The next one we're going to look at is character creation. 2 that I really look at here is start player level and start player money. So if you wanted to have, say, an instant 80 server, you could do that, and you just replace it. So make sure you type in the exact way that it's typed in before. The other one is, again, start player money. So say you did want to do an instant 80 server, you would definitely want to start with some money or you'd be broke. So when you download a repack, it's possible that the person who created this repack has already made changes. That's why it's so important to go through these files and make sure that they are set the way that you want them. Make sure you save your file. You don't have to close it. You have to just minimize it. But what you do have to do is you have to restart your server. So we go to the red one, and I'm just going to exit out, and we'll just restart the server. Now let's test to see if the changes that we made actually worked. So let's go ahead and log in here, create a new character, instant level 80. All right, and we can see here we do have 1,000 gold. Hey y'all, if you made it this far, thank you. I know this is a little dry, but I wanted to cover the basics first. There's a lot of really cool stuff to get into future videos. If you like private server creation content, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. Tell me down below what you're working on, what you need help with, and I will definitely make videos based on our interactions here on YouTube. So thank you. Now back to it. The next section here is called character. Here you can change things like the max player level, minimum dual spec, or movement speed. Now rate talents. You could set this to 2 or 3, and then for every level you get after 10, you'd get that amount of talent points. Now this here is a multiplier to configure your health, mana, rage, etc. Let's say you want to have your base health be double, you could do that. Your base mana be double, you could do that. The next section is skill. You can change how many max primary trait skills you have. You can add a skill chance for prospecting, milling. You can change the rate of of skill discovery, and you can change the skill gains from crafting, defense, gathering, and weapons. The next section is experience, the meat and potatoes of some of these custom servers, and the different options are XP kill, XP quest, dungeon finder, XP explore, XP pet. The next section is items, and this really relates to drop rates here. You can always change these to drop more of a specific type of item, and you can change that to whatever you want. Now let's talk about the creatures. A lot of changes you can do here. You can change the creature's damage. Now normal damage is melee damage, spell damage, and you've got HP. So if you wanted to make your server harder, you would change the value to a higher number. And if you wanted a little bit of an easier server, you could set those values to less than 1. The next section is vendor, and this has to do with the sell rates. So when you're selling to a vendor, you can change how much gold you get. And of course, that also conversely relates to the buy value, which is when you go to a vendor to buy an item, how much that item will cost to you. And one of my favorite sections is faction interaction. And this allows you to have a 100% cross-faction server with things like two-sided accounts, two-sided interaction calendar, interaction chat, interaction channel, interaction grouping. You can be in the same guild, you can do shared auction house, you can send mail back and forth between different factions, and you can also add friends, allow trading, and you can inspect other people's talents. Now, I wasn't going to do this, but as a bonus today, I'm going to dive into the modules. Now, these are specific to a repack, and this repack has quite a few cool modules. These are config files as well, but they're for specific things. And I'm not sure about you, but if you're looking to do a solo server, I was like, I want to be able to do random dungeon finder by myself. And with this, you can. It's called the solo LFG config file. You simply turn that on, and when you're in game, you can hit that green button and solo for a solo dungeon queue. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.